Hi Gandhi class, welcome to your fourth Talk for Writing lesson this week. And our learning objective for today's lesson is, can I write a shape poem about a given subject? So today we're going to write a shape poem together about the rain. And then for your task, you are going to write your own shape poem about a tree. So let's look at the rain. What adjectives can you think of to describe it? I want you to pause the video and on a mini whiteboard or a piece of paper, write down all the adjectives that you can think of about the rain. Pause the video to do that now. Okay, so here are some adjectives that I came up with. So I've got wet, cold, heavy, persistent, blue, fierce, miserable, pouring, loud, pitter-patter, dreary, sudden, drizzling, torrential, grey, refreshing, cool, chilly, warm, thick, unpredictable, dull, wild, and lashing. If you see any adjectives there that you like the sound of, please do write them down on your mini whiteboard or your piece of paper now. Okay, so now we need to think of some alliteration that we could use. Remember, alliteration is when we have words that are close together that start with the same letter or sound. So what I want you to do now, using the adjectives that you've got, think of some alliteration that you could write about the rain. Pause the video to do that on your mini whiteboard or a piece of paper now. Okay, so here are some ideas that I had. The persistent pitter-patter of raindrops. So you can see here, I repeated the p sound. Persistent pitter-patter. The rain splashed and splattered and spilled and sprayed and sprinkled. So I've repeated that s sound. Drizzled, drenched, drained and dribbled. So I've repeated the d sound. Cold, cool and chilly. And then thick torrential rain drummed down outside. So thick and torrential and then drummed and down. So that's two bits of alliteration there. If you've seen any words here that you like, please do write them down and add it to your list on your mini whiteboard or your piece of paper. Now we need to think of some similes that we could use. So we need to compare the rain to something else using the words like or as. So I want you to pause the video now and on your mini whiteboard or your piece of paper, can you write down some similes to compare the rain to something else? Pause the video to do that now. So here are some ideas for similes about the rain that I came up with. So raindrops look like sparkling light bulbs. Heavy rain falls from the sky like 1,000 hooves pounding against the ground. The rain was as cold as icy snowflakes that coat the mountain peaks. The lashing torrential rain was like a wild animal confined in a cage. The rain was pitter-pattering like the keys on a computer. So here are some ideas of my similes. If you like any of these, please do write them down on your mini whiteboard or your piece of paper. Now what we need to do is put together our ideas in the shape of rain. So we are just going to be drawing the outline of it. No shading, no colouring. It needs to be as simple as possible because we need to make sure that most of it is made up of words. You can have a simple outline and then the rest should be made up of words. So watch me as I do it. I'm going to show you how to do it for the rain. You don't need to do it yourself because you're going to be having a go at doing the same thing but for a tree. So watch me as I do the one for rain, and then you're going to do the same thing, but for the tree. But obviously you need to change the adjectives, the similes and the alliteration that you use to match the tree. So let me share my book with you. Okay. So here is my book. Now I'm going to be using all of the information that I shared with you earlier to help me write this poem. So first of all, I'm going to start with by drawing a really simple outline of a rain cloud and some rain. So okay. So there is my rain cloud and there is the rain there. And what I'm going to start by doing is writing around these lines. So writing within the shape, so it sticks to that sort of shape. So let's start with the bits of rain first. So I'm going to write on the lines that I've drawn for the rain. The persistent pitter patter of raindrops is splashing and splattering all around me. So that's my first part of my shape poem. I've included alliteration, persistent pitter-patter, splashing and splattering, and I've put it in the shape of the rain coming from the rain cloud. And now what I'm going to do within my rain cloud, I'm going to start writing more of the ideas that I came up with in the lesson. So I'm just going to change the shape of that quickly. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to, the way I've decided that I'm going to do this is I'm going to follow the rain cloud around. So I'm going to follow the lines around, which means at some points I may be writing upside down. Now, another way that you could do it is by writing all the way across. So it's all about finding what works for you. But I'm going to start by writing around. So let's start here. Heavy rain. Falls from the sky, like 1,000 hooves. So I'm having to move my paper to work with me. Pounding against the ground. And there we go, that's the first bit. Then I'm going to write cold, cool, and cold, cool, and chilly. The rain is as cold, and then I'm going to have to start by going in underneath here. Is as cold as Icy, snowflakes that coat the highest mountain peaks. And then lively. Now I'm using all of the ideas that I'd written down to do with my adjectives, to do with my alliteration, to do with my similes, and I'm just putting them in a formation here in the shape of that. So that's what you guys are going to need to do with the tree. So lively. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to write. Lively, lashing, thick, torrential rain is like a wild, and I'm starting again to go around again, wild animal trapped in a cage. Okay, the next bit I'm going to write is thick, dark clouds looking angry, awful, and annoyed. And then I'm going to write splish, splash, splish, splash. There we go. And then what will I write next? I'll put a question in. When will it stop? Oh, there we go. And then I'm going to write some more alliteration. Drizzle, dribble, drenched. Raindrops, look like small, sparkling light bulbs. Lighting up the dark, dreary sky. And then in that little space there, I'm just going to write raining. And I'm going to make the letters fit the space that's been left. There we go. So that is my shape poem for rain. So I've used all of the information that I came up with, look at the adjectives, the similes, the alliteration that I could use, and I put it into the formation of a rain cloud with raindrops. And that is there, my final piece. So what I decided to do was I wanted to follow the shape round, which meant I had to move my page a lot. However, you could do it a different way by just writing across within those shapes. So for example, if you've got your rain cloud there, you could write across like this. So heavy rain falls from the sky like 1,000 hooves pounding against the ground. So you could write it like that, where you're following, you're writing straight across, but you're stopping when you hit your outline, and then you'll start on the next line and do all the way through until you hit that next line, and then start again within the shape. So you could do it like that, or you could do it where you go all the way around like I have done. So that's how you put your writing into the formation of the object that you are talking about. Okay, so let's go back to this. So your task is to write a shape poem about a tree. So I've put a very basic outline of a tree here for you. Remember, what you need to do, think about a tree, think about the adjectives first, write down a list of adjectives. Then once you've done that, think about alliteration that you could use. Tall tree, for example. Then you need to think about your similes. So what similes could you use to describe the tree? Think about the leaves, the bark as well. And then you write it into the shape of a tree. So you draw a very basic outline. You don't need to shade or anything like that. And then within that, you can write about your tree using the adjectives, the alliteration, and the similes that you have come up with. And again, you could write around like I did with the cloud, or you could write in straight lines, starting on a new line every time you hit the outline of your tree. Please make sure you upload your work to Tapestry Gandhi class, and I'll see you next time. Bye.